Angathi ndawuqala phi yathi. But first of all, I would like to thank Kavila House for actually inviting me to this interview. I feel so honored to be actually the one who's being interviewed today. It means so much, actually. It means that I've done something. And I really don't know where to start in terms of introducing myself because I grew up in a culture where I think maybe there's a lot of factors and contributions that made me me. But again, the basic stuff, I was born in Babane, but I think I grew up in 7 different places. The only region I haven't lived in is Shiselweni, yeah, Shiselweni. But I've lived in Bobo, I've lived in Manzini, I've lived in. So if I can start saying where do I live in whatsoever. But I grew up in Babani. I was a child of a lady who was actually living there. And then I started to actually move because of circumstances, move around. So I started learning life from an early age. But yeah, I'm here because of different circumstances. But my name is still Mbongeni Dlamini, and yeah, I'm very passionate about business. As you can see, you are here because I'm a business person. So I started doing things that are related to business at a very early age. I think I was like 13 years old. Yeah, 13 years old. I was introduced to business in a way that I wouldn't think that I was introduced to business because at home we had a combi business. So I absorbed a lot of fast tracking things, decision making at a very young age. As you can know, combi business, public transport is not a joke for kids. So I was helping when I was not when I was not at school. I was helping at a rank with obviously collecting money and trying to make sure that every man goes back at home. And, you know, there's a lot of things that I've learned at the rank. And coming to this age, I would say I have a big foundation that was built up by the rank from taking decisions that really have like a real financial impact, taking decisions from not being embarrassed, actually that you know maybe from school, and after that, you're going back to school, they're going to be talking about you. So coming through all that has actually made me come with certain ideas that have actually worked for me over the years, starting with the clothing brand, which I created while I was at the rank. Because I am a person who's into art. So graphics had like an influence, and what do you call literature had an influence too, because when I look at how I actually built One Evening Akoko, which is the clothing brand that I am actually owning, that has had so many sales over the years since 2012, since 2011 actually. I started with 2 t-shirts. So looking at how I actually built that brand up has a lot of influence from the rank. So I grew up in that kind of space where I would survive and at the same time be creative and try to make money like we always do at the rank. It's always about money. If you go there, you know you're there for money. If you know when the shows are very fast in terms of decision, in terms of which trips you're taking, which trips you're not taking, and you are actually racing against a lot of expenses, Alekumbi itself, petrol, service. So I learned a lot from actually the rent. So I guess I can just talk about that more, because if I can talk about high school, I would say I learned from Baga High School, which was a good school for me. I met a lot of people, foreigners, because there's actually a refugee camp down there. So I would learn a lot of things from them. At the same time, the teachers. But while I was there, I was still doing the rank. So that's when I actually felt like, no, this is my thing. Yes, I would like to probably go to, I wanted to actually be maybe a teacher, because I knew how to articulate words and I knew how to actually explain things to people. So yeah, I think from just wanting to be a teacher or something else to just wanting to focus on business as it is. So yeah, my high school was that, but I went through a tertiary education too at ITM, which was very interesting for me because after the Kumbi business, obviously, I had to start doing other things. And I was interested in things that have to do with IT. So I got lucky and got a job as a assistant of a technician. Being sita-ke ngamathuluzi akhe, and the technician was actually into security systems, which is what I'm doing now with the titanium systems. So I came in at VTREC Swaziland, which was a company that was dealing with electronic security, CCTV, tracking devices, access control, electric fence, etc., etc. So I came into that space having the brand, which was actually surviving at that time. It's a long story, the brand that I cannot go into it, but it was a very successful project from the start. So I came into that space. Then I actually started learning a lot more about IT stuff and electronics. But I was helping him. I actually went through the ranks, but I'm guessing, yeah, it's a story for another day. It's a long story. But yeah, definitely that's how I actually came about to be into business. I think let me start with just explaining the name Titanium Systems. I've worked into this in the space of IT electronic systems for a very long time, since 2011. Actually, I did my tertiary while working there. So I've been exposed to different systems. Tracking devices alone are very, very big system complexities. There's a lot of network there. Then there's CCTV too. Then there's access control. Then there's electronic fences. If you mix that up, you're actually dealing with a world of electronic security systems. So me coming through with this name is trying to define the journey that I've actually walked in the space of electronic systems. So it's a titanium, it's a big one, and it's big in a way. I think you know the song by Sia, where there's like Sia Titanium, that's where I took the name. And when I was watching the video there, I saw a big picture of how that boy was busy surviving the situation that he was facing, or whatever they were trying to portray. It was trying to show that thick skin, titanium is like something that is hard to break, actually. So I look at my story, and the only thing I see, I just see thick skin. I cannot say something happened this way. I just know that when the conditions came and something bumped me, I would just try and develop a thick skin, and it will bump me that way, but I would just recover. Okay, titanium systems is definitely what I would love to actually work around. In the future, if I die, if I leave the business to someone else, I want them to know the story of me developing a thick skin in the economic situation that we are in, trying to thrive through, trying to give obviously the people a good service at the end of the day, and trying to build an image for the company, actually. Yeah. Titanium system is like a gift, because I learned things under pressure, and I didn't know that I was learning the things so that one day I can have my own company. So the vision is clear. I just want to have a legacy where someone else will walk into maybe a titanium system as someone who's just here to learn a few things or to try and figure out their life, and next thing they're owning a big company, or they are actually thriving with the knowledge that they've gained from the system, from the company. So my vision is just trying and get more people to be incubated by the company. At the same time, the company being sustainable because of the thick skin that is developed over the years, because of professionalism, because of keeping updated and just trying to thrive through every situation that is being faced in the IT industry or in the electronic security industry. The same services that I actually was doing back then, but mostly I'm specializing in CCTV. So any kind of CCTV you can bring in, any kind of cameras you can bring in, I'm gonna fix for you. I'm gonna fix. Um, the tracking devices, yes, I'm good at tracking devices too. In access control, where you can touch and get in the gate boom gates. Yeah, so it's basically in line with that electric fence, gate motors, where you open your gate using a remote or using your cell phone. So I'm specializing in that kind of a technology, and I honestly wish that people can just be innovated and try to look at how Eswatini companies are growing and adapting from foreign companies. So that's what I'm doing. Everything that comes in with foreign companies, I make sure that I update the company with, and then make sure that if a Swati person wants the service, they don't have to start looking in SA. They have to start looking here. If I don't have that service, trust me, I'll make sure by the time you come back, I have that service if it's in the space that I'm in. Yeah, that's the very sad part where it's a good question. That is very sad. We are having a crisis in the country, and I don't know if people have seen, those who are working know it. So there's a lot of challenges. One that you might not expect that they can affect you. So the challenges first is the lack of jobs, the lack of maybe let me just say tenders. You are good at the job, but there is no jobs for you. There's few cars that you can put trackers on. There's few places that will probably say they have a budget for CCTV. So the challenge is reaching out to more businesses, because one thing, if you get a job somewhere, you will have probably that fluidity of moving around and asking for other jobs from somewhere. So the first challenge is not being able to go as much as I can to be more productive. The second challenge is a lot of people are still traditional. They would rather not have a gate motor for security and just try and push the gate as much as they can until it breaks. So it's still a process of teaching people that there's new things, there's new technology. You can still use access control to get into a place. You can even use CCTV to try and guide the place instead of wanting a security guard to be always there. CCTV has motion detectors and everything. So yeah, that's the challenges that we're meeting, is the lack of jobs, and obviously the mind change between the people and the clients. When you do a certain job, they will expect you to excel in spaces that are not able to excel. You put a CCTV somewhere, there's no network, and then a lot of things get affected, and you probably end up being the one who's supposed to pay the price. So I think what keeps me going is just something that I've had a long time ago that has been built in my character. I've mastered drought. I've mastered the ability to just hold my breath for a very long time. I can stay for 3 months without a lot of jobs coming in, and I can see what else I'm doing. And that's proof because I have the brand, which is a clothing brand, the One Evening Coco. So I always try to rotate around and try to create revenue so that the other one posts the other one, the other one posts the other one. So that's my advantage. And I think that seeing that the other one's boosting the other one gives me confidence. And when the other one tries to push the other one, gives him confidence. So you end up not feeling the pinch and, thriving into the situations and find yourself moving forward. And before you know it, you probably being called somewhere and being credited somewhere. So yeah, it's a lot of breadcrumbs achievements that I wouldn't pinpoint. But I think to be recognized by big organizations that I wouldn't mention now, to be in their databases, big companies in Eswatini, that you sometimes they call you, even though sometimes they don't give you the jobs. If you are being part of it, maybe let's just say Eswatini electricity company database, where they sometimes call you and say, code this. I think that is something for me to recognize that, maybe one day I'm gonna get a bigger what or whatsoever. But being able to maneuver in corporate space has been like a highlight of Titanium system. And those breadcrumbs, those bomage basemakhaya, they put just one camera so that and getting the footage. So I'm like linking the two, and I'm like thinking that is actually something that I would probably feel like this is my proud moments at Titanium Systems. Yeah, man. Ish. That's a good question, bro. It's tiring. It's tiring, but I think the nice thing when you have been called to serve, when you've been called to serve, there's always that soothing thing about being tired, being coming back tired from doing all these things for free. Maybe let's just make an example of the donations that we always try to link people to donate, and maybe even the association, because I feel like that is still serving for free to actually try and bring in the professionalism, including Brains in Eswatini, trying to bring in the business part, trying to open people's eyes, because maybe you have seen a side that they haven't seen, and obviously them probably having the other side that I haven't seen. So when we come together, it's always a lot of eyes coming together. So when you look at things like that, I think mostly it's just serving. It's tiring, I don't want to lie, because if you look at the yield from a person's perspective, you feel like I lead. Yeah, you looking at it from a person's perspective. But when you look at it from a Bible or from being called Mbong, my name is Mbong, and so I always feel like I have to be thanked for serving, because my name is following me for a reason. So I always feel like it always works that it will always connect me to my name and connect me to the purpose that I actually came on earth for. Because at the end of the day, singati dlalisa, when we don't go to the place where we're called in, we are going to be miserable. So it's, for me, it's serving, and obviously prayer groups is it's stepping into a spiritual world and coming together with other people to actually thank God for, obviously, for being alive. And I felt like I'm more connected to the group because of the things I've been through, the accidents and everything. So it serves somehow. The first thing first is obviously we cannot do anything without character. Yeah, we can tell you everything. You cannot do anything without character. You cannot go into spaces where hardship is felt without character. So developing thick skin and character and mastering drought, maybe, because most people tap out when there's nothing, when there's no one. So mastering your space in drought, mastering your space in wealth, or mastering your space when there's no one, mastering your space when you are crowded is very, very key. It's very, very important to have character. It's very important to be self-aware, and obviously character, it has to be built by different conditions that you meet. So for me, to the youth, is like build the character, be aware, listen to people, go to forums that talk about building character, and try and find your purpose. Because at the end of the day, you can sit here and think about anything, but if you have purpose, like you have a compass that navigates your way through an ocean. So if you feel like I was meant to do this, then you try and try and influence yourself to do that, you end up on the right path. So character helps you to navigate. Character helps you to actually navigate through situations where there's a crowd, through situations where you are alone, through situations where you are wealthy, through situations where you are in drought. So when you build character that is actually self-aware, you will know when the situation comes how to react. You will know that friends are not going to be around today because I'm like this. So it's okay. And you know that I'm surrounded by friends right now because maybe I have this. So you know that there's a lot of things that are actually filtered that you don't have to probably regret at the end of the day, when you feel like someone has done this and that for me. So it's just encouraging a character building. And I know character building cannot just be done, but it can be felt, it can be constructed by conditions. So allow yourself to be in situations where you're trying and failing. So that's how you actually build your character. Yeah. What do I want to be? Serving. Serving. I've served in spaces a lot, and I've got the benefits. So when I die, I know people are gonna be excited of the job that I've done here on earth. I've served, I've poured my heart out in situations where maybe I wouldn't think I would pour my heart out, but because I understand what it means to be in a serving point of view where you do things for free, or when you do things and expect less or nothing in return. So I want to be remembered for that, that I've served without demand. Yeah. Guys, this is Mbongeni, Titanium Systems, your one-stop security systems shop. You can get services like CCTV tracking devices, gate motors, access control from me. I am actually a Swati Kamban that is 100% old Swatini. So if you want to contact me for those services, please do touch my number on WhatsApp. It's 76818286 or Swazi Mobile 79598147. You actually can send me even an email on mbongeni007@outlook.com. And please just go to Facebook if you want to hear about something. I'm Mbongeni Lobi Dlamini, and I'll definitely answer all the questions that you need answers for. And obviously, you can check my page, my clothing brand page, One Evening Akoko. Check out a few items and inbox us. We'll definitely get back to you and see if we have those items. So thank you so much again for actually having me in this interview. Obviously, shout out to Havila House for having me into this interview. They are doing a great job, and I hope they're going to go back and make a big impact into the community. Thank you so much, Havila House.